concept of the Cantiere Internazionale d'Arte di Montepulciano is unique in its way and has been copied a lot. It was the idea of its founder, composer Hans Werner Henze, in 1976 to create a new form of arts festival. One of the main ideas is that everybody involved works under the same economic conditions, which means anybody is paid a fee. Everybody goes there absolutely equal to the others. The idea was actually to build up a strong musical and cultural life in Montepulciano. The point of departure, if you want, of that project was the music school, which also was not founded by Henze but supported a lot, and by his successors later on, like Detlef Glanert or Luciano Garosi. And the idea was to create musical life and interest in Montepulciano and to transport that into the whole region. Proposed for the position of the music director of the Cantiere by Gaston Fournier Faccio. Gaston Fournier was at that time, when he got to know me, the artistic director of Santa Cecilia in Rome. At that time I couldn't know that he was so much involved personally in the whole Cantiere festival and idea, because he had worked closely with Hans Werner Henze. And he had always been consulted when it was about important decisions. So his idea was actually to build up a new team consisting of Detlef Glanert as the artistic director and me as the music director.
I met Roland Böer through Antonio Papano, the music director of the Royal Opera House. I was looking for an important Mozart conductor for the Academy of Santa Cecilia. Years later, I had left Santa Cecilia. I was working at La Scala di Milano, and I remember the very positive experience with Roland. I contracted him. He came to La Scala, which is a more difficult theater than Santa Cecilia. And again, Roland Böer was a huge success in Milano with the orchestra, with the public, with the press. I was asked by the Cantiere to suggest a possible successor for the direction of the Cantiere. And of course, I remember Roland Böer. I like very much the enthusiasm of Roland. I spoke to him knowing that he is an artist who loves Italy. Roland accepted with enthusiasm, and I feel that the results of these cantieres he has already directed are the best proof that the idea and the decision was the best one to be taken.
My relationship with Roland started in a very funny way, because I met him first, not personally, but through the acoustic in the Frankfurt Opera House when he was rehearsing the Schubert opera. So I could hear him, but I could not see him. And I felt immediately very good, let's say, vibrations. And a short time later, I was elected for the artistic director in Montepulciano, and there was an open question. Who will be the musical director? And Gaston Fournier was immediately naming Roland, and so I met Roland, and I had a wonderful impression from the first moment on. And so we started to prepare my 3 years, first 3 years term in Montepulciano.
The moment when we were both mentioned and proposed, Detlef and I started immediately talking and planning, not knowing whether we would succeed and be accepted as the new team. But we immediately we clicked and we found a way to create and invent a program over 3 years without being asked. But that was good, because then when we were invited to be interviewed by the former president and the secretary of the Fondazione, of the foundation, we then came as a team, as if we had known each other for years, and we presented our first program.
He is an absolutely passionate, convincing personality. He is a great diplomat. He is absolutely friendly with everybody, and he can seduce every person in the world to classical music.
It should be F natural and then G sharp. It was really absolutely with my So we are here in Piazza Grande di Montepulciano, the big square. I'm sitting on the stage. This is my first year as artistic director. Tonight, the first big symphonic concert will happen. The program is very much linked to this year's theme, which is Terra, Guerra e Pace, which means the soil, or where we come from, and war and peace. The first piece of tonight's program will be a Memorial to Lidice by Martinu. The second piece in the program is the third piano concerto by Bartók, played by Markus Bellheim. In the second half of the program, we'll play a funeral march by Cherubini, which was added to his Requiem later. I chose this march as an introduction to Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. Beethoven thought that Cherubini was the greatest composer of his time, and Beethoven said he would love Cherubini's Requiem to be played on his own funeral. And so, to underline the great admiration for his colleague, I thought it would be a wonderful thing to connect these pieces. The orchestra is again the Symphony Orchestra of the Royal Northern College of Music of Manchester. We have established a long-term relationship with a hand-picked selection of the best players of each year, thanks to Margaret Barry. She has done a fantastic work this year, and we can say the orchestra is in a very good shape with wonderful woodwind players. Brass is absolutely at its best and a fantastic strong string section, so I couldn't be happier.
College first took a group of students in 1992 to the festival. That was the year before I came here. I think it was a very small group actually. And as far as I know, the original connection was between the then head of strings, Rodney Slatford, and Hans Werner Henze himself. The following year, the Cantiere invited us back again with a full symphony orchestra. It's a touring experience for them. Many of them are now playing in professional orchestras, but they got their first taste of orchestral touring by going to Montepulciano.
The orchestra of the RNCM is certainly one of the main columns of the whole festival, because they don't only play symphonic concerts, they have played opera and a huge amount of chamber music. They go out in the streets, they play during the day whenever they have free time, busking and everything. So it's absolutely wonderful. They play a very, very big role, maybe one of the most important roles in that structure and programming of the festival. Last night, another midnight concert took place. People want to go up to just relax in the piazza and have a glass of wine or just be here because it's so beautiful. And my idea was already some years ago to organize some midnight concerts. And yesterday was special because I made people play together which have never played before as a group. So I invited the Montfort Quartet, artists in residence for this year, and who will also come back next year. But I invited other soloists and players like Justus Grimm and Jacopo Francini and many more. And on top of that, students from the Royal Northern College of Music of Manchester, different players from all over the place, who then for this one concert, with very little rehearsal time, put together quite a wonderful program, including the third Brandenburg concerto. It was not improvised, it was organized, but it had still the freshness of a casual get-together of musicians who just enjoy playing. Since I had been appointed artistic director of the Cantiere, on top of my involvement as a music director, I realized how much I enjoyed to be responsible for an entire festival, not only the musical programs, the choice of artists, but also the technical and organizational side. It's a beautiful experience for myself because I feel very relaxed about it, although it's very stressful and there are always many problems to solve, but actually I love it. It's just a great honor and joy for me. Once you've been here, you don't want to leave and you want to come back. So I have got a long waiting list of people who absolutely desperately want to come back. It's the collaboration for something we think is worth to be pursued, and we have so many ideas for the future. It's the thing we want to do. It's art, it's music, it's the experience of doing something with the same intention. The translation of Cantiere. It's a building site where we try to maintain the good things, but we also have to invent new things, and we have to construct, and we have to polish here and there. And this is also for me as an artistic director is so fascinating, because it's really about creating something. And I really tend to see the Cantiere as a model for a better world, if you want. I think what we show is a mutual respect, a great spirit of collaboration, of helping each other, and it's really we all can trust each other. Well, I think the fact that this is the 40th year of the Cantiere says already something. I think we are the oldest festival in Italy, and the wonderful thing is that the main ideas by Henze are still present, and I think every artistic director and music director has tried to really think onward, to follow these ideas. And I think this is part of the secret of the whole thing, that we're still here. I think we will have a great future ahead of us, because the community is growing. 40 years means we were successful.